Hello, everybody. My name is Christina. I'm with Publisher Spotlight, and I am delighted to introduce Heidi Hill, who is the founder, publisher, and acquiring editor for Blue Dot Kids Press. Hello, Heidi.
Hello.
Hello.
Nice to be here
so much for joining us. Yeah. We would just like to know a little bit about you, a little bit about Blue Dot Kids Press, and especially the connections with Montessori.
Yeah, that sounds great. It's such a pleasure to be talking with everyone today and to be part of the Montessori conference. So I'm Heidi, and a bit about me. I'm a mom of a 5-year-old. I'm a bookworm. I'm an optimistic environmentalist. And I'm also a dual citizen of New Zealand and the United States. And I am the founder of Blue Dot Kids Press. I'm the founder, I'm the publisher, and I'm the acquisitions editor. And we're a small independent children's press out of San Francisco and Wellington, New Zealand, with a big mission. And we really want to partner with educators and parents to raise the next generation of empathetic global citizens and nature stewards. So from a personal perspective, my connections, my interests in Montessori really came from researching and reading about education models and looking at, well, what wasn't working, but really most importantly, what is working today? And I just had this strong affinity with the Montessori method. And at home, one of the main philosophies we really follow to raise our child, Spencer, who is now 5, is the Montessori method. And there's really 2 ways we do that at home. One is encouraging the development of the whole child. So, as you know, the social, emotional, and intellectual and physical development. And also what I would call trust and respect. So trust in the child to be the initiator, an explorer, a self-learner, and one that naturally guides their own development. And actually I'll touch on that and how that comes to life in the books that we select for Blue Dot Kids Press as well. So that's my connection there.
One of the things that and you're living it with with your child, of course, and seeing the Montessori method, and how he's developing as an independent learner. Your books also dovetail on 2 really big themes in Montessori across the subject areas, and that is fusing nature with community and fusing sciences and the global awareness and the global world with how we live our individual lives together and separately. And I wonder if you could speak to a little bit about those philosophies that underlie a lot of your books.
Yeah, thank you. So as I briefly touched on, our aim is to partner with parents and educators to raise the next generation of empathetic global citizens and nature stewards. So much like the Montessori philosophy, we really believe that children with the right foundation can develop to their full potential, can become socially responsible and active citizens. And we believe books play a huge part in that. And so just as a side note, you may be wondering, those listening, what is the name Blue Dot? And so really the name Blue Dot Kids Press is a nod to the scientist Carl Sagan's ode to our home and to planet Earth, and a reminder to preserve and care for our home. So right there is the connection between empathy and science and in the name even. And so all of our books are really tied to this theme, this idea of engaging the reader's innate sense of wonder, innate sense of empathy, and connecting them to the global community. So that's why we're so focused on the 2 main themes that you mentioned. So the first theme, what we call skills for global citizens. So resilience, creativity, empathy. And then the second track or theme is all about environment and nature. So again, we select the books to educate the whole child. So it's not enough for us to do only STEM as a standalone. We also want to teach social and emotional learning, and many of our best books have these themes intertwined, and that just makes us so excited. And so I think another thing that's important to note is the majority of our books are largely realistic fiction, so they're about real life subjects, so that's really important to us. And a lot of the fiction have back matter. I love back matter. So
Me
that's
too.
a way to weave those things together as well.
You can get to my heart really quick with some beautiful back matter in a book.
Yeah.
Just as a teacher and as a parent, just giving me that little extra bit to kind of take the book and take it further. I'm yours forever.
Yeah.
Let's talk about some specific titles so people can get a feel for your books. And they're just incredibly beautiful. And the stories within them just ring, and they're detailed, lovely pictures. So much to see beyond the words. Do you have some titles that you'd like to show us? Because I love all of them. So
Thank you. Yeah, it was hard to select, I have to say. I think when looking at the different academic areas that Montessori focuses on, there was a few that came to mind that really blend all of those, many of those nicely. And so the first is Under My Tree. I'll show you the cover here. This is a modern take on the giving tree that celebrates the friendship between a curious child and her favorite tree. So this again is a realistic fiction, but it has informational side text that is intertwined among the pages. And it really sparks the importance of conservation in a young age through a child's friendship with a tree. It's touching on academic areas of the senses, art, botany, and the sciences. And so that would be a really good pick, we think, for the classroom. And we feel like it really fills a gap for more artistic, but engaging informational books, and clearly combines the fiction and nonfiction aspects. So that would be one to look for, is Under My Tree. I'll point out another one. I don't actually have the cover right now, but I know the group here would love it. So look out for Seeking an Aurora. This one is lovely. It highlights a child and dad relationship and also STEM-centered learning. It's for those who love Al Moon, which was one of my, and still is one of my favorite books. It's really a meditation on nature, and it's about a father and child sharing this unforgettable moment together and the majestic splendor of the aurora at night. It has back matter as well that explains all about geographical and STEM-centered learning. So that is another great example of the fiction with the back matter as well. And then lastly, for this section of combining fiction with back matter, this book, which is actually a finalist for the Jane Addams Peace Association Award, which we're really proud of. This is The Day Seda Arrived. And as far as academic areas, I mean, this of course would touch on language, culture, and art. It has actually the Arabic and English alphabet in the back, which I'll show you. So there's some back matter love there. This one is really about celebrating the universal language of friendship and the power of language to build bonds beyond borders. And two girls forging this forever friendship by learning each other's language. So they both learn each other's language, learn about the world around them. And it's really a kid-appropriate and new approach to immigration, an encouraging story. And many of our books, you'll see, they talk about perhaps a complex, realistic subject matter, but with an approachable, encouraging story. And so this one does that. So those are the ones I'll mention for now.
That's beautiful. Very gentle approach to developing empathy and reaching out the hand of friendship. It really, this one really touched my heart. So
thank you. Yeah.
In terms of the ones that are a little bit more nonfiction and focusing on ecological issues and nature specifically, I know you've got actually some board books that fuse language with that as well for the early years. And
we do. So we have board books. Yep.
And I don't know if you have any there with you. I have a couple here. But
I do. Yeah, I do. Thanks for asking. I did gather a pile of most of my books because so much of our books are about the visual representation and the illustrations. And so it really is important to kind of take a look at them and the inside. So we're really excited. This year we're launching a new board book series for it's a multilingual board book series. We'll have out ocean animals as well as birds this spring, followed by next fall, we'll have one on plants.
Ooh.
And the point of these books is really to encourage multilingual exploration and curiosity about our world in the youngest of readers. And so it's pairing collages with 18 types of animals, or in the case of birds, 18 types of birds, across the 6 most widely spoken languages worldwide in terms of number of speakers. So English, Spanish, French, Hindi, Chinese, Mandarin, and Arabic, as well as the universal language of friendship, Esperanto. And so you can see the collages here. Collage is also a very approachable art style. So this is another one to bring into academic areas of art and language, and kids can create their own collages of different animals. It's, you know, in the class as well. So we love that. We love the idea of collages being combined and to make something unique. So that, as well as the various languages within it, make the book a nice combo of zoology and art and language. So we're excited about those board books.
They're absolutely wonderful. I'm always on the lookout for really wonderful board books for the youngest little Montessorians, you know. And this one, one of the things that struck me is it very much resembles a 3-part card, which is one educational tool in the Montessori classroom. And it has you know, that look to it, which would be a really great lead in as they move into being ready for that. And I did notice that the pupil of the eyes contain the first letter in the name of the animal, which delighted me. I just found that.
Oh, yes. So yes, there's all sorts of little lovely details within these books. And yes, that you found out one of those. Yeah, so that's fun. So it's always got the English, the first letter of the English letter there. So fun for learning about letters as well.
I just love that. Do you have some books you especially want to focus on, you know, in our before we end, and just some that especially are close to your heart, or that you want us to be especially aware of as Montessori teachers and directors and parents?
I do. And so I mentioned a couple. I want to mention one that came out in the fall, and then 2 of our upcoming titles. One that is near and dear to my heart, and actually we've received a lot of support from Montessori educators on Instagram and in blogging. And this one really has been a favorite among that group as well, is My Favorite Memories. This was published in the fall, and it's really a beautiful, simple story about moving to a new home, exploring themes of change and permanence. It's told really with a warm illustration style, and it offers parents and educators a very gentle but impactful way to discuss resilience, complex life events like moving to a new home, and even the topic of immigration. So we know that children dealing with change and leaving things behind is a universal topic. And this again has the social emotional learning opportunities in it. Why it's so special, other than it's illustrated by this multi-award-winning illustrator who, you know, is a White Raven winner and an IBI honored illustrator. But what makes it even more special is the ending, which is when the child understands, and I'll just give it away here, but you still have to read the book, but when the child understands that the ocean is what connects her to her new home and to her old home and connects them together, she really develops this resilience, and she builds this resilience through her connection to the natural world. And I just love that ending, and that again demonstrates the whole child learning. And so I love that one. I'd love parents and educators to check that one out. And then coming out this April, I wanted to mention is Welcome Home Wales. This is a perfect example of blending social emotional learning with environment and conservation. It's a really optimistic story dealing with empathy and conservation, and it will resonate with kids concerned about wildlife and making the world better for animals. So it showcases a child having agency and making change. And it is about conservation, but it's really a wider book in that this book's main message is about a concise and eloquent description of what young generations are grappling with today among conservation topics, etc. And so this also has a back matter page about all the different whales. So this would fit with a lot of different areas in the Montessori philosophy and academic space. So that's coming out in April. And then I just want to leave you with, actually, so we've got board books, as you know, for 0 to 3 or 0 to 5 even. And then most of our picture books are 3 to 7. But this year we're expanding out Blue Dot, and we created a book for those folks who are kids who are 8 to 12. So I wanted to mention this book for the older readers, Our World Out of Balance, Understanding Climate Change and What We Can Do. We're really proud to be publishing this book this spring. We know that children are asking about climate change, and going back to this idea of respect and trust, we believe children, especially above 8, should be given clear information and tools and encouragement they need to know that, that they can be part of the solution, that they can be part of that. And so it's an illustrated guide, a comprehensive illustrated guide. It's accessible, it's easily digestible, and it's hopeful. It's action-oriented and hopeful. And so it features brave scientists, young activists, and many groups working collectively to protect our future. So we're excited about that. And I wanted to also mention a lot of our books are connected to citizen science initiatives. So we have a guide up right now called Crazy About Birds, and it lists a bunch of different citizen science programs that kids can get involved with, which is, again, about being teaching themselves to observe, to contribute data to real scientific problems, and getting out of the classroom and taking action. And so a lot of our resources have citizen science projects that they can get involved with as well.
It's just so amazing. Your books are opening doors to the outside of the classroom, which is a very important and vital thing to do, and to open that Montessori door, and to have children going out and making friends with the tree, and and to go out and understand, from the last book, and it specifically has things that kids have done. It has sections, things that have been done, things that you can do. So it kind of leads, lays a foundation of understanding, and then points them out the door to what they can do as independent global learners, as members of the global society. And all of your books really belong in any classroom, especially a Montessori classroom. They're just beautiful, and I want to congratulate you on really taking books to the next level.
Thank you.
I just loved meeting you. I could listen to you introduce your books all day long, but I
can keep talking. Yeah.
Oh, I would be happy to do that, but we do have to go. If there's anything you want to add, please do so. If there's, you said some upcoming titles, and we're just.
I just want to, I'd love to leave the group with, first off, please reach out. I'm at hello@bluedotkidspress.com. I still answer our general email. I love to talk to parents and teachers and librarians, etc. So again, hello@bluedotkidspress.com. And look for our book. You'll see all of our books have the blue dot on the front. And you'll also notice something I wanted to point out: on all of our books on the back, we have 1% for the planet, where we're demonstrating our commitment to donate 1% of our sales to environmental causes. And we always print on FSC sustainable sourced paper. So look out for our logo, and really understand that business can be a force for good, and we'd really love kids to know that. So thanks so much for your time, for those tuning in, and thanks to Christina for the time to chat, and be well, everyone.
Thank you so much, and I wish you the best, and thank you for your books, and I'm going to be keeping an eye out for those new titles.
Sounds good. Thank you.
Take care. Thank you so much.